Let's talk about energy flow. We can see all the different architecture leaf structures within this area we're standing. So we're not leaking a lot of energy. We're leaking some, but compared to what this field used to look like, we're capturing a lot of that now. So we're feeding a lot of soil microbiology within the system, carbon. One other thing is, how do we manage, where we do have leaky systems, where we do have bare soil, especially in a perennial? Let's say we want to increase the grass species within this system. We know by the work by Dr. James White, some of the best seed we can produce is a seed inoculated with our own soil microbiology. So what we're doing with this particular area, this field, we know we have bare soil. So we're allowing some of this to get to mid-stage maturity and maturity. Then we're bringing the animals in here, foraging on them, and letting them shatter this seed and utilizing the hoof, manure, and urine to help get these seeds germinated.
And they will consume some of that seed. It'll pass through them, and that manure pat will have a very good fungal component because this is more mature. That'll be the ideal medium in order to germinate and start some of those new seedlings.
This kind of ties back to epigenetics too. That's one thing we have found as we've advancing our soils, we had to change the genetic profile of our animals. And that doesn't mean going out here and buying animals from somewhere else. We had to find what was working within our herd, utilize those animals to be able to take this more lignified vegetation and utilize it for an energy source. Now, not all of our cattle could do that, Gabe. And unfortunately, that was a tough lesson for us. We had a lot of cows that we call fell out of the system. But the cows we have now are doing a very good job of foraging on this more lignified vegetation. But we're also getting these holes filled. Now we're growing more biomass than we ever have before. And now these animals are getting adapted to our system. So it's enhancing not only our soil, but our epigenetics. Because now we're no longer buying mineral. We're only utilizing salt. We no longer worm our cattle. So we've taken those input costs out, and we're no longer supplementing our cattle. We're making them work on our resources that we have on our landscapes.
Make your livestock work for you rather than you for your livestock.
Something I did way back when I was starting to figure things out, I built a 1x1 square, and I spent a half an afternoon just driving around the side by side and tossing it out. And wherever that square landed, I put it down on the soil surface and I started digging around and seeing how much bare soil I had that wasn't growing a plant. Because we remember when this was true prairie, native grasses, almost every square inch had a living plant in it. Well, we discovered 22% of our soils were bare. It doesn't take a whole lot of math to figure out if 22% of your soil is bare, if I can just increase that by 12%, I just bought acres I didn't have to write a check for. That's huge. Yep. So we need to start thinking a little bit differently. It's benefiting our soil, our water infiltration, our nutrient cycle, and it's also putting economic dollars in our pockets.
And all that can be derived from observation. We start with observation.
Correct.